Alrighty guys, it is Quabman here today. But I am not alone, as I am joined with Thundershot, Blackenfist, and Rhymestill to announce to you guys something that will change your mind on Dragon Ball Z, especially Fukkatsu no F. However, we will tell you right now that there will be spoilers in this, so if you guys do not want to get any spoilers about the actual movie itself, tune off right now. So here starts the 5-second count into our discussion.
Now, to be fair, it's just beginning chapter spoilers, right?
Yes, just beginning chapter spoilers.
It's just the plot, the setup of how the movie is going to go.
We're not ruining the ending for anybody if that was your make or break. So,
So there's been enough time for you guys to click out. If you're still here, that means you obviously want to watch what we're talking about. So let's get this party started. So Rhymestyle, I want you to start us off by, inputting how you found out about this information and a general, subset of everything.
So you want like the initial summary of the chapter?
From your perspective.
Alrighty guys, it is Rhymestyle here today, and I bring you another... No, I'm just kidding. So essentially, the first chapter, in case you guys want to read, I'm sure Quaman will link it in the description below. But essentially what happens is the way this movie is going to be set up is, it starts off with Frieza is in Hell, which by the way, Hell is now officially canon, which wasn't before. What we saw in the anime was just filler, but now it's officially, we have our glimpse of how Toriyama views Hell, which is actually pretty interesting. And they show him just having these flashbacks of Goku fighting him, Trunks fighting him, him dying or whatever. And at the same time, his the remaining warriors, I guess, from his army, Shorbet and Tagoma, are trying to revive the army. So what they do is Tagoma and Shorbet go to Earth, and they essentially steal a wish, because when they get to Earth, they see Pilaf. Of course, Pilaf is attempting to make a wish with Shenron, and they show up just in time to essentially get the wish and say, we want Frieza revived. To which what Shenron says, no, it can't do that because his body parts are all over, they've been scattered, so we can't actually bring back his soul. So instead, what they end up wishing for is to get Frieza's body back from Hell rather than just his entire, I guess, existence and soul. So what happens is Frieza, then they go back to but they go back to Hell, and they show Frieza actually then disappear, and then the pieces of Frieza, which by the way is in the mecha form, that Trunks chopped up, then falls around his army, not his army, but Shorbet and Tagoma, who then take the pieces of Frieza and then put it together in a revival chamber, which then brings back Frieza in his first form. And from there, they essentially see that he wants to take revenge, to which they tell him, no, don't do it, bro. Like Tagoma specifically says, don't do it, bro, they're stronger than you now. And Frieza responds by just killing him. And then Frieza then reveals a very important detail, which is going to be essentially the big part of the movie, and that is that if he has 4 months to train, he can actually dig deeper into his power and bring out something that's so powerful that, and I quote, he will be able to defeat Goku with a blink of an eye. So regardless of how strong Goku has become after Battle of Gods, which is when this movie takes place, apparently this new form, if Frieza trains hard enough, will be strong enough to defeat Goku with a blink of an eye, I guess. So that's where we are right now. That's
something important to note about the transformation and him being able to defeat Goku in the blink of an eye. From the way it was explained to me before we started recording, Frieza only knows that about Goku and how strong he is up until the end of the Buu saga. So he thinks he'll be able to achieve a form that can defeat Goku in the blink of an eye, as in Super Saiyan 3 Goku from the Buu saga, not the new Super Saiyan God power absorbed Goku, thus making this look like a very good fight, because yeah, defeating Goku in the blink of an eye in the Buu saga is one thing, but with the entire new God power, that becomes a whole nother thing. So I thought that was important to note.
Yep.
I also wanted to say, and I think I said this in a previous video, but in the perspective of Battle of Gods, this actually kind of makes sense, because as I said before, Beerus actually seemed pretty impressed with Goku in Battle of Gods.
Ooh.
That he defeated Frieza, and I always thought that was weird. As I said before, that was very strange, I thought, because I thought, wait a minute, Frieza isn't a really weak guy compared to Beerus. Like, really weak. Like, he's a fly compared to Beerus. So why would he be impressed that a guy like Goku beat someone like Frieza? Why would he be impressed, and why would he want to fight the person that beat Frieza if Frieza was so weak? But this might explain it. Maybe the reason Beerus was so impressed was because he he thought maybe that the guy who beat the guy who beat Frieza in this like deep alternate form that we're gonna see in this movie. So maybe that's the reason why he was so impressed at first, which would make a lot more sense. Of course, you know, in the actual series, we never actually in the actual series we never saw that. But that's my hunch. My hunch is that Beerus was impressed because he assumed that Goku beat this Frieza that we're going to be getting in this movie. And that's kind of maybe that was like already like hinting at this movie and even in Battle of Gods, honestly.
Yeah.
So I
was gonna say even if maybe Beerus gets surprised and he didn't know exactly that Frieza had this whole other form. To be fair, when Beerus went to sleep, Frieza was the strongest thing in the universe, besides him, obviously. But
well, that's true. But he was so insignificantly weaker than like Beerus, like Frieza, you know, the Frieza we know, obviously, the Frieza we know is like nothing compared to, like, is like not even close, not even a comparison. So, you know, that's what I mean. Like, it's always been strange to me that Beerus was impressed with the person that beat Frieza, because the person that beat Frieza honestly couldn't have been too much stronger. Which Goku, you know, Super Saiyan Goku that beat Frieza, you know, he's also was a fly compared to Beerus. So, you know, I always found it strange why Beerus thought that the person that beat Frieza could be so strong compared to him. So, but this actually might explain it, because, you know, maybe Beerus thought he beat this Frieza, this version of Frieza.
My theory is not that he beat that version, but my theory is that Beerus probably knew that he had this form somewhere, because maybe Beerus knows more about Frieza's family's history or something. He'd probably seen something similar to that form, but I don't think he actually probably thought he beat that form, because like he probably assumed, well, Frieza, if ever gets in a situation where he gets into a huge fight that he can't win, he'll probably, like, you know, try to go for that form. But then again, I had another theory, which we'll discuss in another video, that Frieza probably already knew that he had this new form, new ability, or new power, or whatever you want to call it. But the only reason why he didn't want to achieve it is because he was just lazy. Because I mean, even in the series, Frieza was so lazy that he flew around his little capsule Segway thing that he flies around with on Namek. So maybe, you know, that's just my theory right there.
Actually, no, that actually ties into what a video I made a while back, or just a while ago, was my last video, where I said that there's actually, if you look around, not many Dragon Ball characters aspire to become stronger, and Frieza is definitely one of them. Frieza has such a high opinion of himself. So why would he need to train? He's like so insanely stronger than everybody else. Like, the closest person to him at the time, I think, was Captain Ginyu, right? Yep. Or maybe King Vegeta. Maybe King Vegeta was stronger than Captain Ginyu. Who knows? Because, you know, King Vegeta in his ape form most likely was stronger than Captain Ginyu. So maybe that was like the second strongest that Frieza could know. And that is not even close to Frieza's max. Like, even if you just, you know, do it in his final form and everything. So, Frieza, why would he want to train? He doesn't need to train, and I'm pretty sure that's how he felt. So I'm pretty sure if he had this form where he needed to train in order to achieve it, he probably was like, well, why do I need this? I don't need it. Like, I already can...
Especially when he thought he was about to wish himself immortal.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep.
But we have not heard from Mr. Kwaman's land yet. I see you being quiet over there.
Yeah, I was, you know, I didn't want to break up your discussion, but what I really find interesting about all of this stuff is the whole body parts thing. And, you know, Dino kind of suggested that Frieza himself naturally is immortal, because they basically wished for his metal, and you guys would have to see the pictures to get a better idea of what I'm talking about, but they basically wished for the metal pieces of Frieza's body back. But yet, after putting them in the rejuvenation chamber, they somehow appeared. That just seems kind of inconsistent to me. Like, how exactly do you essentially need, like, the actual body parts of Frieza, but yet they were blown up? And when Frieza came back, shouldn't he be in, like, his, you know, his real form? That's just something I didn't understand. Rhymestall, do you have anything to that?
My theory is, well, first of all, if you look at the actual screenshot from the manga, when Frieza is brought back in his pieces, he's brought back in many pieces after, you know, Trunks initially chopped him up. But the thing that's interesting is you see the eyes open. And going back to when Frieza was blown up on planet Namek, he survived that. He was still alive. Even though he was completely destroyed and torn up, he was still alive. And then even when Trunks chopped him up, he was still alive for that too. Like he saw Trunks chop him up. Like that didn't actually kill him. What killed him was when Trunks actually, like, you know, disintegrated them with his blast. So my theory is actually is Frieza has this ability that we never really even thought about, just because it just went over all our heads. And that ability is that he actually can't really die. Like, well, he can die, but he can't die. Like he's immortal as long as he has his body. So essentially, if you cut off his head, he will still survive. Because even he himself said, if Namek blows up, I will survive. You know, I can breathe in space. So I think, like, the unique thing about Frieza's body is that regardless of what kind of shape it's in, he can survive. So with that said,
I think it's kind of like. You think it's kind of like a Cell Majin Buu thing? Like, he doesn't regenerate, obviously, but he can be cut up, and as long as his cell is alive, he is still alive.
That's what I see. Because, like, even if you look at the actual screenshot from the actual manga, when he's brought back, his eyes open. Like, it looks like he's alive. Like, there's life in that piece of eyeball that's in that freaking screenshot. So my theory is the reason why they chose to just bring him back that way rather than try to figure out another way to, like, revive him is because they knew they could just rebuild him. So I feel like they probably have, like, a chamber or something out there where they can essentially take a bunch of Frieza pieces and, like, you know, like with Play-Doh, when you take Play-Doh and put it all together in one thing and then you squeeze it out. I feel like they're gonna do something like that, where they put all the pieces of Frieza into one and they just kind of, like, pump it out into what he is, you know, what he becomes in this movie, which is the first form.
It just still. I was just gonna say really quickly. It just doesn't make sense to me how putting metal pieces together in a chamber creates a biological body. That's the only thing that doesn't make sense to me. They said they're gonna wish him back, but they needed the pieces. It just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I've been listening to this. It just doesn't make sense to me, and I'm sure this will get cleared up later on as we learn more about the story.
Yeah, because I was going like even when Krillin was blown up, I mean, Krillin technically was in pieces. He was in many pieces when Frieza blew him up, yet he came back to life. I feel like this is just Toriyama's famous writing style that he seems to always go back to, where he's just like, you know what, screw it, this is officially canon now.
That person didn't die. But no, I was gonna recap just the screenshots, just kind of explain to you guys, and I'm sure we'll try to find links and leave them in the description down below so you can look at them for yourself too. But just to recap the screenshots, you guys know where we're coming from and what we've seen already. We see Frieza in Hell, and Hell is interesting because Frieza is trapped in a cocoon with only his head exposed, and his Hell, and I think Hell might be uniquely tailored depending on who you are to be the worst thing possible for you, is a bunch of stuffed animals playing tiny drums and tiny cymbals and blowing horns around and stuff like that, and there's little children yelling and fairies flying around, and that's Frieza's Hell. He's trapped in that forever. Loud noises and fairies and fun, pretty much, and he obviously hates that.
Which is ironic, because you would think his Hell would be full of Saiyans.
Yeah, just monkeys running around. Just a bunch of monkeys running around. It's him blowing up.
His Hell would be like him right next to Broly or something. His worst nightmare.
In terms of
like you know, if Frieza went to prison, you know, and his cellmate was like Broly, legendary Super Saiyan, he goes like, you know, and freaking got, you know, and then Frieza would shit his pants pretty much.
Frieza permanently has a Goku mask stuck to his face.
Wear this.
But no, there's another screenshot of Frieza blowing up one of his henchmen. There's the tall one. I don't know which one that name is. That's Tagoma.
He gets mad at him for saying that. Tagoma says, "Hey, don't fight Goku," and he's like, "Nah, bro, I'm gonna go fight him. Get out of my life," and he blows him up.
There's a big blast going through his gut. There's a picture of all Frieza's body parts, metal body parts included, after they wish him back, and that's the image Rhymestyle was talking about earlier, obviously. I am not sure I'm 100% on board with Frieza actually being alive at that point when all of his body parts come back, just looking at it myself. But we'll have to see as more news and information comes out on that. And then there's, I believe this is the one final shot of Frieza in his first form with both of his henchmen, the tall one and the short one, lined up across looking at Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Yamcha, and Krillin. But that looks more of like a title screenshot, more so than something that's actually going to show up in the real manga or movie. Just kind of like more of a poster image. So yeah, that's pretty much all the images that we have that we've seen. Just to kind of catch you guys up and fill you in on what we know exactly.
And to those who don't know what we're talking about, this is a 3-chapter manga series that's going to lead up to the movie that Toriyama's putting together. So yes, Fukkatsu no is manga canon.
Well, I'll just say this one quick thing. I think Thundershot may have missed one of them. We see a small clip with Baby Pan, Gohan, and Videl and Piccolo in the middle of the city next to a Hercule statue. And we then cut to seeing like all the characters looking up into the sky as if it's something big, or it could be like them sensing energy. So I honestly feel like this kind of confirms that this is definitely taking place a good amount of time after Battle of Gods, which does go into a small bit of an inconsistency because of what Bulma said, but you know, that's another story for another day. One thing that I really wanted to discuss before we close this video out is one of the images where we saw Frieza in a cocoon in hell. That, if you guys look at this image, you guys will understand how creepy this thing looks. It's essentially seeing like a bunch of fairy type creatures and teddy bears like playing music while Frieza's like sitting in a cocoon like all quiet. And it's so weird because this is such a contrast from the anime filler versions of hell we've seen with, you know, like Pikkon. And, you know, when we see, later on when Goku's fighting
Gods and Mez.
Yeah, and when we see Goku fighting Kid Buu, and, you know, eventually, you know, they're watching the fight. Like, this is completely different. Frieza's in a cocoon-like thing that actually completely resembles, the Majin Buu pods, if you guys remember what I'm saying, when essentially everybody was inside of Buu's body. So
well, if you really think about it, even though the anime depictions of hell, I mean, the manga never depicted hell at all in Dragon Ball, but if you really think about it, the anime depictions of hell were actually pretty cheerful. If you remember the amusement parks and stuff like that, so
yeah, the little souls were riding around in like the blood fountain on. They were like
yeah,
boat and stuff.
Yeah, and there was like it almost looked like tourist attractions. Like there was like.
That's what I said in my video. It's like it was being a bad guy was rewarding. It's like,
I mean, it was almost like hell. It was almost like hell. Hell seemed to me like a tourist trap almost.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you really think about it, hell was never really depicted in Dragon Ball as like a really dark place ever. So
to clear two things up for people who might not know, if you're not aware and you've only seen the anime, hell is never shown in the manga. Hell is never shown in the manga. It wasn't thought to exist. All the souls you see flying around in hell in the anime and stuff like that are not technically manga canon. Also, I noticed Kwame mentioned Baby Pan earlier. We cannot tell if that's actually Pan or not. It's such a small baby child. We can't actually tell if it's Pan or not. It could be a boy. So a GT, I mean, you know, just to point out that GT is not confirmed or anything like that just yet. But I thought that was worth noting.
oh boy.
I don't want to get into that whole scenario right now, but we don't know for sure that's Pan.
Well, I think we've pretty much said a lot of what we think here. Do you guys have any quick predictions? I know for sure for me, my whole, you know, I originally thought that Togoma and Sorbet was actually going to play a much bigger role. I thought they were going to be a lot stronger than I thought if they get blasted away like that. And it's been said that,
by the way, their power levels are equivalent to Dodoria and Zarbon, so they're pretty weak.
Yeah, even Yamcha could beat them now with these. So I mean,
are we gonna mention the fact that I love that Pilaf is getting sabotaged again?
Freaking Pilaf, man.
I love Pilaf. I love Pilaf. He never gets his shine, you know, and that's what makes them. He's like he's almost like that villain that you almost want to succeed.
Because he's been trying.
Just because it'll be weird.
He's the
if
rabbit
it does,
going for the
you know?
chicks right now, essentially. And then they just silly rabbit chicks are for kids,
Pretty
and they
much.
snag it away from him. Although Pilaf was kind of like the boar, the lol, more so for me at least in Battle of Gods. I am glad to see that they're bringing him back. I think making this a running gag is funny. So yeah, I like that.
what about you, Rhymestyle?
I think it's hilarious. I'm sorry, I'm so not because my dog is being a fuckboy. My dog is being an absolute fuckboy. He's just annoying me right now, and I'm like, dude, go away! I'm recording, bro. Leave. Stop.
Well, I mean,
Like he keeps bringing this like a rubber ball next to the mic and chewing on it. I'm like, dude, stop. Go away.
well, I'm.
Oh, are you recording, bro?
At the end of the day, guys, I think that this movie is going to be really interesting. A lot of our theories on how this was going to play out have essentially been thrown right through the window. The next, you know, manga panel that comes out, if you guys want to get the spoiler for it, we'll let you guys know. Sorry I couldn't show you any pictures, but I can get in serious trouble for that, even more so than copyrights. I know you guys are probably considering this is weird because I show footage all the time, but, you know, according to Dino, this could put me in some serious jeopardy. So I just posted a link.
Yeah, just link.
So you guys can all check it out. So I hope you guys enjoy. Anybody have any final words? Rhymestyle, you were going to say something?
Yeah, my dog's being a fuckboy.
Oh, alright. So we learned that Rhymstyle's dog is not a bitch. And we also want to learn from the rest of you guys in the comment section. So any final words, guys?
I want to say that I hope I hope that Toriyama does a decent job of explaining away, or explaining exactly the whole metal body and why he retained that and all that stuff. And I hope he does it in a way that makes sense, because Toriyama has phenomenal writing. We can all agree on that. But Toriyama also forgets what he wrote before a lot and contradicts the shit out of himself. And I'm hoping that doesn't occur for this.
Black and Fist.
One last
I'm
word
hoping
I wanna say is I want to see the return of Launch. I want to see Super Saiyan Launch come back in this.
Oh,
movie.
that's true. That's
Launch.
true. Launch wasn't even in Battle of Gods. Man.
She wasn't in Dragon Ball Z. She was forgotten.
Well, I mean, she was.
Was
she
she-
was in filler.
Was she in the manga?
No. Her
Was she-
Launch's last appearance, I think, was at the 23rd tournament when Goku beat Piccolo at the tournament. I think that was her last appearance in the manga. I think.
Yeah.
And her last.
And to quote
but she.
And to quote Toriyama, he literally forgot she existed.
Yeah, he did. And he.
But it's, you know what? It's funny. Like, it's funny going back and thinking about Launch, her hair turning blonde. Like, I wonder if that has anything to do with like inspiration to create the Super Saiyan later. But again, that's
Oh wow.
maybe she's the first Super Saiyan. She's the first Super Saiyan. That's what happens.
Well,
By sneezing.
if there is one final thing that I want to leave out in this video, guys, it's my one prediction that I really think is going to happen. I feel like Frieza's going to encounter Goten and Trunks before the rest, and here's my theory. Because Frieza said he wanted revenge on Goku and Trunks for messing him up. Trunks looks exactly like the Trunks who cut him up into pieces, just a kid form, and Goten looks exactly like Goku. And I feel like he's going to bump into them first, and that's how this ultimate fight's going to happen. Also, because in all of these trailers, we have not seen a glimpse of Goten and Trunks. Not one. Nobody's talked about them, anything. There's been no knowledge on them.
The reason I feel we haven't seen a Goten and Trunks is because I think they finally aged them up. Like, they finally got new character designs. Like they should have in Battle
joke's
of
on us.
Gods.
They sent him away to summer camp for the weekend. They're just not going to be in it at all.
God.
I was gonna say the plot twist is Toriyama forgot that Goten and Trunks existed. But I like that idea better.
Oh my.
So guys, that's basically been our video for today. It's gone a little while, and we hope you guys have a lot of, important feedback in the comment section. Please guys, don't try to post videos in response using this footage, because you will get flagged by Shueisha. They're really strict about this, and I hope you guys enjoy. So most importantly, over everything else, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe, and remember, as I always say, to have a great day, guys.